Chelsea tomorrow night at the London Stadium, so it's time to catch up with our opposition fan, Alex from Chelsea Fan TV. You kicked off the Premier League campaign with a 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace. What was your thoughts post-match? Were you unhappy with what you're seeing? You feeling all right?
To be honest with you, I was all right. I was saying it earlier. This is the first time I have felt as confident as I feel since Abramovich was at Chelsea. It's been that long. I mean, to be fair, if I compared your situation with ours, I mean, I can't complain about ownership, but we're comfortable. We're very comfortable. You know, every position that we look at, you can pretty much see an improvement. Obviously, Robert Sanchez, fair enough. I mean, we're now in a situation, Gio, where we're complaining about our centre-backs not having enough depth, but not because they can't defend, because they can't pass. They can't pass into the midfield, which is a difficult skill in to find in a modern day centre back. So very picky. And Chelsea fans, you're always going to strive to be better than you were the last season. For me, all I care about is being better. I think we've improved in pretty much all fronts. Yeah, I can't look at us and not feel confident. So even drawing 0-0 to Palace, mate, they're a solid team. They won the Community Shield, they won the FA Cup. They're a very respectable side. You draw games against Crystal Palace, and you don't feel like you've really dropped points. You feel like, you know what, mate, maybe they're actually a good side. But I'll be honest. Again, I don't want to come out all guns blazing again, but I have to just say, I feel confident. I feel very confident. And if there's one thing I would think about from a West Ham point of view that you want to take advantage of, is that this is basically Chelsea's pre-season, right? We've got Enzo Fernandez in there, who had a very good Club World Cup. He was eating paellas in wherever he was with Cucurella. They were all relaxing, having a good time. Sure, they weren't keeping particularly fit, and fair play to them. You know, you're humans. You've got to enjoy your time off. But we did see that there was a little bit of rust, especially from Enzo Fernandez in there. So, I mean, if he plays, that could be an area to target, although I know you guys aren't particularly happy with your midfield either. Apart from that, again, our centre-backs not being able to pass the ball out, but that doesn't stop us from getting clean sheets. So, yeah, very, very good situation to be in. Feeling very confident.
Yeah, we've got a couple of defenders that are decent with the ball at the feet. The issue is they can't defend and they're very good at heading it. But apart from that, they're all right at passing it out, though, if that's what you want to see. In terms of the Club World Cup, I think a lot of non-Man City and Chelsea fans weren't that bothered. But as a Chelsea fan, how important was it to you? Were you that bothered by it?
Well, the Club World Cup?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. No, I was in there. I was in America. Right, so I went up and I saw every game bar one up till the semis. Right, so I missed the semis, I missed the final, and I think I missed the last 16. But I watched every other game, and what I saw throughout that tournament was, first of all, what I hope will never happen, which is the Americanization of football. Seeing stupid player individual entrances, all of this nonsense, halftime shows. No one cares. No one wants to see it. But most importantly, I saw a team that grew into the tournament, right? And I think we got better and better and better as every game went on. And I think we'll be similar in the Premier League as well, especially coming up to sort of that December busy period. I think we'll continue to improve. It's just a case of how long it takes, right? So, yeah, that World Cup was important. That was very important. People do not understand how big that was for us. That put us, bear in mind, I was Maresca out. I was not a fan of our manager. I was on TalkSport berating the guy. I was outside Stamford Bridge after we lost countless games. It's just pathetic, the football at times. I won't change my opinion. My opinion stays the same. It was pathetic and it was slow. But ultimately, if you're winning trophies, it doesn't matter how you play. And we were having this debate earlier. I mean, I'm happy to have it again. You know, I was a fan of David Moyes. I think David Moyes was a good gaffer for you guys. But I know a lot of West Ham fans will disagree with me. But he brought you a trophy. So I think the argument still stands with him. Maresca, he won the Conference League. He got us top 4. He won the Club World Cup. We're in a much better financial position because of it. We're in the Champions League. There's no reason why Chelsea fans shouldn't feel good about him. And the little problems that we do have, I think that if you really believe that this guy is the manager to bring you forward, then he's going to solve the problems, isn't he? Because any good manager can adapt. But yeah, I think that Club World Cup to us felt like a Premier League in a way, mate, because we beat PSG, the best team in the world. We absolutely smashed them. And I know it's not got anywhere near the significance, again, like a Premier League, but it gave us such a boost. And it's turned a lot of fans that were against the current regime into fans. And I would include myself in that category. I went from not really enjoying it, not feeling confident, not understanding it, to holding my hands up and saying, you know what, I was wrong. And I don't think there's any better football fan. There's no better feeling as a football fan than wanting to be proved wrong and then actually being proved wrong because of the club's success.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that last sentence you said there. I think that's sometimes I think that gets lost on people if you have a negative opinion. I think people assume that you want to have a negative opinion, but actually, no, I want it to be turned into a positive one, but I can't change how I feel. But just to pick up on that, so before the Club World Cup, or possibly even before the Conference League final, but there or thereabouts, you were wanting Maresca sacked.
Well, not exactly at that moment in time, but yeah, I was Maresca out around March when we lost to Brighton twice in a row. We lost, I think it was in the FA Cup, and then we lost in the league 2 games in a row, both Brighton away. And we were just sick and tired of it. We were sick and tired of these strange decisions. And I speak for match-going fans, yeah. I don't know if you go to games, Gio, but I go home and away. And I know it's different when you go to games. It's different. You don't just turn off the TV and go and make your dinner, have a tea. You've spent all your money. You've traveled all this way. You want to be entertained, number one. Then you want to see results, okay? And if you're not seeing either of those things and you don't understand the decisions that are being made, then you're going to get frustrated. And I think that's where a lot of match-going fans really lost it with Maresca, because there was just games where we thought, we're not even trying to win. We were passing backwards for the sake of it. And in press conferences, he was admitting to wanting players to pass backwards. He said, yes, I've told them to do them. What are you on about here? And then the goalkeeper, I mean, Sanchez, no, I don't need to explain myself there. I never understood why he kept starting, but in fairness to him, he's had a good Club World Cup campaign, and I actually thought he was pretty good against Crystal Palace as well. But yeah, man, I think Maresca's definitely opened up a lot of Chelsea fans' minds, and I would say most fans are pretty united at the moment, which is, was a very good place to be.
That's very fair. I agree with what you've just said there. It makes sense what you've just said, actually. Very well explained. Right, in terms of your summer transfer business, Chelsea busy as always. Feels like whenever there's a transfer window, Chelsea enjoy it. You've been happy with what you've done in terms of ingoings and outgoings?
I need my wallet. Just need to splash some cash around. But you know what? We've been selling really well as well. It's not just about the income. And we've been saying this for a long time. Everyone's complained about how much we spent, but we've always sold well. I remember we had a summer. Was it last summer? Or was it the summer before? I can't remember off the top. I think it was last summer. We sold Mount, we sold Havertz, we sold Mendy, we got rid of Koulibaly, we got rid of all these players that we didn't even want. And we managed to get really good price tags for them. And we've basically continued that trend. And there's still many sales to come, which is why, we're being linked with Garnacho. We're being linked with Xavi Simons. And I think it will probably end there. But a lot of Chelsea fans want a centre-back, myself included, but I can totally appreciate if we don't get one. It's like you ask for a lot of things on your Christmas wish list. You're not going to get all of them, okay? You never have the perfect situation sometimes, so you have to adapt. But yeah, just going back to what you were saying about the transfers, the players we brought in, strikers, how can we complain? We got Delap for a cutthroat deal, and I think we overspent on João Pedro, but I still think he's a good player. He'll probably end up starting against you guys, but I can definitely see Delap coming on. And then Jackson will probably end up being sold, but I'm not going to complain if he's my third choice. Our midfield, arguably top 3 in the world on paper. Very difficult to compete with that in any league. We're upgrading in terms of the wings, but I do think that's a weakness, especially on that left-hand side, if I'm honest. Jamie Gittins didn't look great against Palace.
No.
He's not played in the Prem, so can't really blame him. I think that there's a good chance that he probably starts again, just because it's so early on. A lot of the times you'll see the manager make a decision in terms of a player he starts, and you go, why don't you just change it straight away? And it might not be tactical. I think it's more to do with giving the player a little bit of confidence. So I do think that's one area that I don't really see us threatening too much on that left-hand side. But again, I sort of hold my hands up and say I haven't watched that much of Jamie Gittins. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to being proven wrong there. And I think Neto will start as well. If you have a low block, then I think he generally struggles there. But Esteval will almost certainly come on, and he has been a revelation. Honestly, I got a message the day after the game, a guy who sits next to me, Matthew Harding, and he said, I haven't seen a player that exciting since Eden Hazard. And I'm not joking with you, Gio. The ball, it was stuck to his foot, mate. They were doubling up on him. They were doubling up on an 18-year-old. And it just, it's incredible.
I was aware you'd signed him, but I hadn't watched him play. Then during the Club World Cup, I got to see him play. And in the first game, I thought, I'll do one, as if Chelsea signed this guy already. And then the more you've seen of him during the Club World Cup, the more I just thought, can't be arsed watching Chelsea next season with this guy involved as well. And then when he came on against Crystal Palace, I thought, right, okay, he's got what I call the X factor. He's just got that something a little bit special that not many other players in the Premier League have it. He's gonna be a joy to watch as a footballer. I am inclined to agree. I'm kind of just glad that we're playing you now, where he perhaps hasn't quite forced his way into the starting 11.
Exactly.
So there might be a slight advantage to playing you this early in the season, in the sense that Gittins, like you said, will hopefully get the nod over Esteval. So, because I think it looks like there's been a lot of hype, hasn't there, about him, but it's hard to always buy into it when you don't really have your own opinion of him. It's like, right, okay, I can appreciate a lot of people highly rate him, but until I've seen him for myself, I can't really form an opinion off the back of someone else's opinion. But yeah, from what I've seen so far, albeit in a summer tournament in half an hour against Crystal Palace, very impressed. Very impressed.
He is, honestly, he is generational. He is generational. And I think anyone that watched him, even against Palace, you can just see it. He was marked out of the game, so he actually didn't end up getting the ball that much because there was 2 players on him the whole time. But there was a 5-minute cameo. He come on, almost scored straight away. It's just brilliant. But so very confident up top. Defensively, again, pretty happy. But it's just passing the ball out, and we don't know what you're going to do and the way you're going to approach this game. But if West Ham come out to play, then this is Chelsea's game, because we saw it against PSG. We like it when teams come at us. We like it when there's space. We sort of hold on to the ball and we just wait for a little bit of space to open up, and that's when we get going. And we've got a lot of triangles, a lot of good link up in there. It's when we're up against a low block and people complaining about lack of movement against Crystal Palace. And I go, what are you talking about, lack of movement? When you've got 10 players behind the ball on the other side, there's nowhere to move. So I honestly think that's your best option. I think that's what West Ham need to do, is try and frustrate Chelsea in that sense. And then from our side, it's not even tactical. I mean, obviously, you've got to try and make tweaks, but it's going to be a moment of magic that wins a game in that situation. And that's what we rely on. I'm feeling very confident, mate. Feeling very good, especially after last season. I don't feel how I felt when David Moyes was your manager. I just don't know what West Ham are going to do. And I used to think they're going to sit back, they're going to get the ball up. Antonio was always a threat, and that's going to be the story of the game. And it always ended up like that. And now I haven't got a clue. And I don't think that's positive. I haven't got a clue. I don't know if you're going to press. I don't know if you're going to sit back. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from you guys.
You're telling me you're not worried about Callum Wilson?
Do you know what? I like Callum Wilson.
Oh, no.
I don't know why everyone's complaining about him. I thought he was a good player.
He was a good player. That's the problem. But anyway,
you got him on a free though, didn't you? Was
we did. Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible, mate. It's not. I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, as long as you get a little bit more, then it's fine. But if that's what you're stuck with, then I agree with any frustrated fan.
I want to find out how confident you are, not for this game, for the season. Premier League title, where are you? Winning it, challenging for it, top 4? What's your expectations?
Finishing 3rd. more points than last season. If we're going specific, we got 69 points last season, so I'm going 79. Still finishing third. I think we finish probably behind Liverpool and Man City. I was sort of a bit tentative about City. Wanted to see them, but that Reinders. Oh my god, he's incredible. And yeah, I mean they look good. So I have to. Yeah, I have to. I can accept finishing third. I just want to see a progression ultimately, and I think we probably will push for a domestic trophy as well, whether that's a Carabao or an FA Cup. I don't really care, to be honest. And then the Champions League, just take it as it comes. It's our first season after a couple. I'm not expecting us to win the whole thing.
Well, you kind of touched upon this then, but what's your thoughts on West Ham?
I'd be very worried if I was a West Ham fan. I'd be very concerned. I speak to a couple of West Ham fans. I've got a few mates who support the club, and they don't have anything good to say. Every time I ask them, they start laughing, but it's not a happy laugh. It's not a Club World Cup. You've just had a great summer laugh. It's not one of those. It's what the hell are we doing? I don't understand what we're doing. And to be honest with you, I appreciate that. I fully appreciate that. I felt like you undervalued Kudus when you sold him. You could have got more money for him. And even if it was 5-10 million, that would have been more respectable than what you got. And I just think that even when I look at some of your better players, like I like Paqueta, but I don't feel particularly threatened by him as a Chelsea fan. I like Callum Wilson, but it's like what you said. He was probably a little bit better before than he is now. I suppose I don't really dwell too much on that. I don't see any threats. I don't see a spark. Whatever it is that a football club is supposed to have, and obviously you want good players and a good manager, obviously. But you can just feel a unity. You either feel it or you don't. I'm telling you right now, Chelsea fans feel pretty good. We feel pretty good. And I could go on for another 10 minutes about why that is. I ask you the same question, Gio. What do you feel good about at West Ham right now?
Jared Bowen. Honestly, there's not loads.
Just leaving it at that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not loads. There isn't loads to feel good about right now. I think, and it's been badly mismanaged for quite some time now, but it just feels like everything's coming back at once to get us. There are some positives, right? I'm just being grumpy, but we've got a good crop of young players at the moment that are perhaps not quite good enough for the first team, but they're too good for the under 21s. And that's not a bad group of young players to have that are on the verge of coming into your first team. So we've got 5 or 6 of those that in 5 years' time will hopefully be all be in the first team at West Ham United. So fingers crossed.
Is that what you guys normally do? Or do you think they'll get flipped?
Neither, actually. We tend to not sell them.
Okay.
And they tend to be not good enough, or they don't really get an opportunity, and it just sort of fizzles out a little bit and they end up somewhere else in other teams. But there are, like Mubama is someone that we tried to keep a hold of. We didn't manage to get a contract signed with him. Didn't really give an opportunity. It was a chicken and the egg. Mubama wanted money to reflect that he was sort of like second, third choice striker in the first team, but our club's attitude was, no, you're not. You're an under-21s player, despite him being on the bench quite frequently in the Premier League. So he wouldn't sign the contract. So Mubama was saying, pay me. And the club was saying, well, you're not playing in the first team, so you didn't get. But we were struggling because then Moyes couldn't play him because he didn't have a long-term future at the club. But the club wouldn't pay him because he wasn't playing. But he couldn't play because he didn't have a long-term. So it was chicken and egg situation. Anyway, he left, went to Man City. He's gone on loan to Stoke this season. 2 goals in 2 games for them in the league. They're absolutely loving him. And we've got Potts at the minute, fantastic in the Championship. Played all pre-season in our midfield. Went to Sunderland last week on the bench. Hang on a minute. We've been our whole pre-season. He's been the main guy in the middle of the pitch, linking the midfield and defence. Then we just changed it at the last minute to Rodriguez for some reason. So I think there's a few players that maybe could make it at West Ham, and I'm hoping that they do. But there's not loads to be positive about. However, I do like the signing of Hermansen. I do like the signing of Juve. If we get in 2 good midfielders between now and the window closing, Alex, I think we'll be all right this season. But
no,
when I say all right, I mean 15th.
There's definitely a relegation. 15th. Okay.
If we sign 2 good players. In
what position? Both midfielders.
Yeah. 'Cause I think
Yeah,
we need
I
more than
think you've
that.
got the right profiles. You definitely got the right profiles. I think Amanson's a good signing, mate. And I think what's his name, Juve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Juve. I've heard good things about him. So you want players that are going to fit the system. And I referenced Potter's experience at Brighton. Like I was really a fan of that from the get go. And I don't read the papers as much now, but I used to like reading the back pages. And I remember reading an interview that Potter gave. This is about 3 years in when it started to click, and it was all about the stress of managing a club and stuff like that. The guy is a manager who has gone from it's like the 8th division in Sweden or something like that. He's gone to Swansea, he's gone to Brighton, he's gone to Chelsea. Let's not sit here and act like Graham Potter's not qualified. He is perfectly qualified to transition West Ham from a club that play very pragmatic football into a club that can play more attractive, but still conservative in a smart way as well. I can compare Potter in a lot of ways to Maresca, right? Because it can seem a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, a little bit negative, but actually a lot of the foundations with the right players, like any manager, if you've got better players, you are going to play better football. When we had Potter and we signed all those players in January, I look at 2 players, for instance, Badiashile and Enzo Fernandez, 2 players who slotted right into that team and performed really well for Potter. Okay, and we did play better football at times with those players, but that doesn't change the fact that there's still so many other things that needed to be changed, and that's why it didn't work out. So ultimately, as much as a lot of people don't want to believe it, this is a guy who just needs time. He's proven it, and he's never ever, apart from Chelsea, failed to impress as long as he's given an opportunity. So we're in year 1. The guy's managed less than 30 games for you. Let's not sit here and act like he's been given the players, he's been given the squad, he's got the trust. This is year 1, and year 1's going to be tough. It's going to be a struggle. I personally think that you probably will stay up. To be fair, I'd put West Ham ahead of the likes of Leeds. I'd probably put Leeds to go down. I think the only thing Leeds have in their favour is they're United as a fan base, and I think that honestly that will play a part in games. Imagine you're 1-0 down at Ellen Road, and then you compare that to the London Stadium. What a contrast! So that's one area where I can see West Ham really struggling, is if you're not playing the type of football that you want to see, and they don't really respond well. So I would encourage West Ham fans to I'm not saying you have to be really patient, but don't fucking have a go at the players all the time. Like, I can speak from experience. I was there last season slating what we were doing. We won the Club World Cup and the Conference League and finished 4th. Who the fuck am I? What do I know? So if you're going to games, I think you just have to suck it up. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever boxed in your life, Gio. I personally haven't, but you just have to put your hand up and take the punches. It's what it is. And I think it's one of those seasons for West Ham, I'll be honest.
Did you want Potter sacked when he was at Chelsea?
Not until the last minute, mate. Not until the last minute. I mean, it got to the stage where we lost 1-0 to Southampton. I remember Prowse scored a free kick against us. It was a great free kick. We lost
Probably
to
the last
Southampton.
one he scored. We've not seen him do one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happened there. I really liked him, but yeah, I mean, if he's not scoring free kicks, I don't see the value in him, to be fair. But yeah, we lost to Southampton, then we lost to Aston Villa, and by that point, I'm not an older fan, I'm in my 20s, mate. I've never seen Chelsea that bad in my life, and it just gets to the stage where you're just in disbelief. It's like a crypto scam. You just see your balance dropping and dropping. You think, oh, it's going to come back up, and it never does. And it gets to a stage where you have to cash out at some point and take whatever you can and go from there. And I think that's what happened with Potter. Looking back in hindsight, shouldn't have sacked him that season. If we were to sack him, it should have been in the summer, because Lampard come in and we were even worse. So, it's not always the best solution to just sack a manager, but we got Poch, we had a better season, we got Maresca, and we progressed. So I think Chelsea is just a very unorthodox club, to be honest with you, in the way we find success, and even taking totally different approaches with Clearlake and obviously Abramovich. we've found a way to sort of wriggle our way back into the fold. But I think you guys need to approach it differently. Just back the guy, sign some players that fit the profile, and have a bit of unity. But do I think that's going to happen, Gio? Fuck no. Excuse my language. You know, I watched enough games at West Ham, and I appreciate, as a match-going fans, you want to be entertained. So it's going to get toxic at times, but I don't think you're going to go down.
Right, before I ask my last question, we did a video on Chelsea Fan TV, myself and Alex, where I'm in the hot seat. Alex is firing questions at me. So if you'd like to see it, I'll put a link in the description below. It'll be on your end slate in a couple of minutes' time. But before we get to that end slate, Alex, how do you see the game going at London Stadium? And can I get your score prediction, please?
I don't mean to offend anyone watching this game if you're a West Ham fan. I'm very confident. I honestly feel quite arrogant, to be honest with you, going to the London Stadium. I said it on a stream before. This is our pre-season, and I honestly feel like West Ham it feels like a pre-season game. I can't see us losing. I cannot see us losing. I just yeah, that's the feeling. That's the feeling. In terms of the way the game's going to go, I think we'll win 4-0. I think that you'll see goals all around the park. Nobody's scored yet. Everyone's hungry to get, you know, on the score sheet and make their name known in the Premier League. Esteval, probably see him scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if João Pedro got on there. Palmer. And then maybe a substitute appearance cameo. I'd love to see a goal from Andre Santos as well. So, yeah, not a very nice one for West Ham fans. But if I'm honest, I haven't felt this confident playing West Ham in a long time.
Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you guys at home have enjoyed it, please do drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up, subscribing to Hammer's Chat, and if you fancy a little bit more from myself and Alex, a completely different conversation, although it's based on the same game. There's a lot more West Ham talk on there. Do head over to Chelsea Fan TV and check that video out. And until next time, I'll catch you in a bit.